Hello everyone, Ryan here. So I recently read a poetry collection by Allen Ginsberg, and it's titled Television Was a Baby Crawling Toward That Death Chamber. And this is part of the Penguin Mini Modern Classics series. I believe that's what it's referred to as. This is number 2 in this particular series. And definitely, I mean, of course, Allen Ginsberg is one of my favorite poets. He was a part of that whole Beat generation, considered to be very influential to the Beat movement. And of course, he hung around with other Beat poets, writers, musicians too. Of course, guys like Jack Kerouac, Neil Cassidy, William Burroughs, I believe, and others, other creative persons. So in this series, it's a short collection. I mean, it's about 50-something pages long. And pretty much each poem touches upon different things, but not so different. Not really, it focuses on things like sex and death and revolution. Also, America and the greed of Americans, and I guess you could say the usual barbaric tendencies that most Americans tend to cling to, I guess. I mean, that's the way I interpreted it. Some of my favorite poems in this collection are Pull My Daisy, which is the first one. I like it. That's actually a collaboration between Allen Ginsberg, Jack Kerouac, and Neil Cassidy. I also like the poem titled America. I feel it definitely touches upon, I mean, like I said earlier, the whole thing about these barbaric tendencies that most Americans tend to cling to. I mean, granted, I would say maybe not so much today as back in, say, like the 40s or 50s. But actually, due to recent events, just in like the past couple of years alone, I'd say that this poem is pretty dead-on accurate, for the most part. I also like the poem titled Death to Van Gogh's Ear, which, oddly enough, doesn't mention Van Gogh. I mean, which I feel kind of sucks, because Vincent Van Gogh was my all-time favorite artist, post-impressionist painter. So, yeah, but it's still a pretty good poem. And I like the title poem, of course. Television was a baby crawling toward that death chamber. This one, it really encompasses so many different things, and pretty much like for me, this poem, and I don't know if other people would agree with me. I think maybe at least some people would agree. But for me, this poem came off as more of like a stream of consciousness type of poem, verse thing, and I really liked it. I mean, and I can only imagine that back then, when Allen Ginsberg first wrote it and when it was first published and first shared with people, I'm pretty sure I can imagine a lot of people being offended by it. But it's truthful. It's, that's one of the reasons why Allen Ginsberg is one of my favorite poets, because, I mean, pretty much in almost every poem of his, he wasn't afraid to just lay it all out there, for people to read, for people to know about. And, he wasn't afraid of revealing the truth to people. So, yeah, whether or not, I'm pretty sure I remember reading about, once, I think I read a biography on Allen Ginsberg, like, a really long time ago. And I do remember something about the fact that, of course, when Allen Ginsberg was alive, he was popular with the younger crowd, and, he was popular with other beat poets and whatnot. But as far as the mainstream society was concerned, they considered his stuff to be completely vulgar. And, in fact, he even, there was some trial for one of his collections, I believe, or, something to do with the poem that was titled Howl. So, there's also a movie about it, too. James Franco plays Allen Ginsberg. It's a pretty interesting movie. I do recommend watching it. But so, the poem Howl, some of his more noteworthy poems, I guess, they're not in this collection. I guess, for me, this is more of a collection of his lesser-known poems, I feel. Maybe with the exception of the title poem. But otherwise, yeah. Anyways, getting back to some of my favorite poems. I like I Am a Victim of Telephone, Mind Breaths, Sphincter. I just like that one because it comes off as highly offensive, and yeah. There's another one where, when I read it, I just immediately imagined people back in the 50s reading it, and just being highly offended, right? But hey, it's honest, so yeah. I also like American Sentences, and then also the last poem, which is titled Come On Pigs of Western Civilization, Eat More Grease. And to me, this one came off as more of a satirical kind of poem, in which it also reveals many truths about the unhealthy diets of many people within Western civilization. And because in the poem, Allen Ginsberg, he mentions that he tells people, pretty much to, come on, eat more, go ahead, eat more unhealthy stuff, eat more grease-laden dishes. So yeah, I really like that poem too. Again, reveals many truths, and all in all, I thoroughly enjoyed this collection. I had never read it before. I had never read any of these poems in this collection before, so yeah. Actually, after reading this, it made me actually want to read Allen Ginsberg's other collections, and I also would like to reread that biography I read all those years ago. But as far as the rating goes, I'm gonna have to give this. I'm gonna have to give it 5 stars. Yeah, I would say 4.5 at the bare minimum, but definitely 5 stars for me. And yeah, my opinion obviously could be considered biased, because Allen Ginsberg is one of my favorite poets. So, but hey, I can rate it whatever I want to rate it. Yeah, so it's 5 stars for me. That'll do it for this review. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And yeah, I recommend reading this if you want to read like a short poetry collection. If you want to read something that's like at least a good introduction to the work of Allen Ginsberg, then I definitely recommend reading this. So, yeah, there you go. Thanks again for watching. As always, next time, don't forget to keep it real, keep on rocking, and peace.